What up? What up? What is that? What already? Welcome to Addicted to Film, everybody. I'm Travis Hopson. This is Tim Gordon. I tried to tell him right before the show starts, don't be looking at your damn football scores as the show starts, please. Yeah, because that's why. Because you're going to start off like that. What is your problem?
Man, I don't have a problem, man. I am ecstatic, man. It is 7 o'clock. What's the last show that was just on here? What's our lead-in show?
Mentor.
What's it called?
Mentor Me.
Mentor Me? Mentor Me, Memorable Moments. Travis, I just had a debate with the host of this show.
How'd you have a debate? We were only in here like 4 minutes ago.
Now,
what
like
kind of
Spike
debate
Lee,
was this?
do you remember in Do the Right Thing
No.
when Spike Lee went off? No, it wasn't Spike Lee. It was Giancarlo Esposito when he said, "Why you can't get no black people on the wall?" This woman walks out of here with a purse that's got Audrey Hepburn on it, and I'm like, you can't get no black people on a bag. Josephine Baker can't get on a bag.
I think Josephine Baker might have a bag. It just this one particular woman did not have that bag.
And then her co-host told me that now I know what she needs for Christmas. Really? Is it my responsibility to supply bags for people when I call them out?
See, this is stupid. This is
Welcome to episode 33 of Addicted to Film. Travis Hopson's already introduced me. I'm Tim Gordon.
Bye.
But seriously, though, I really am excited, Travis.
Why are you excited?
We are less than, goodness gracious, 12 hours?
We are 16 hours away.
16 hours away.
16 hours away.
From the film event of 2014.
For you, yes.
You're not really excited about this?
I am excited, but my number one movie is Inherent Vice.
Oh, that's the one you're most excited about?
Right. Your number one movie is Selma, which we are going to see tomorrow morning.
We are going to see Selma tomorrow morning. Yes. Oh, my God.
Yes. So we're going to see. And we're going to have Ava DuVernay live. Well, maybe probably not. But we like to have her live.
Actually, we are going to have Ava DuVernay live. It just won't be the day or next week. But it's coming.
It won't be here. It won't be here.
But the movie doesn't open. It opens in New York and L.A. on Christmas Day.
Right.
For regular people, like our friend in the back behind us, this movie opens in January for regular people.
You're such an arugula eating.
For regular people.
You're such an arugula eating elitist. You know, you got to out the regular folks.
Mike Phillips is a regular guy.
Mike Phillips. Man, the last thing Mike Phillips is a regular person.
Don't be kissing Mike Phillips' butt, man, because you want to get good coverage.
He could cut
Mike
off.
Phillips
He
is a
could cut off our
guy.
mics. He could cut off our mics.
What is Mike Phillips
he could not run the clips if he didn't want to.
What Mike Phillips has on? What's going on?
I can't see him actually.
Why are you looking? Why are you looking like a shop teacher? What's going on?
But he got Google Glass on.
What the hell has Mike Phillips got on?
He does look like he just coming from shop class.
I'm sorry.
He does look like he's about to teach us how to solder or something.
Travis, tell him what we got coming up today, man.
We're going to be talking about the
on?
number one movie in the world this week, which is The Hunger Games: Mockingjay. Did you actually get a chance to see it?
I did.
Okay, good, because I was about to say, because I didn't check with you like I normally do.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't check to make sure.
Travis is like a parent.
Saw
like,
the week's movies.
Sure you saw the movie?
I had to check.
Because I saw a cooler movie on Tuesday night while you were watching Mockingjay.
All right, well, okay, so
you don't want me to talk about my cooler movie yet?
I don't really care about that movie yet because we can't talk about it anyway. So The Hunger Games: Mockingjay we're going to talk about, and also Foxcatcher, starring Steve Carell, Mark Ruffalo, and Channing Tatum, which we saw a few weeks ago, and they just sent us a screener of it.
Did it really?
Yeah,
I haven't gotten it yet.
I got it a couple days ago, so I was just like, really, Foxcatcher? Okay, so yeah, so it's screener season.
Really waiting to talk about that. Yeah, Foxcatcher.
So what is going on with you this week, man? How have things been? Seriously.
That's a good question, man. I mean, you want the series?
You would
want me to give
know.
you the real answer, or you want me to just give you the radio version?
Give me the radio version. I don't really care about. I don't really care about what's really going on.
Actually, you really do. You don't want me to tell them what's really going on.
I don't really care about what's really going
on. I've been busy, but the big thing this week for me is that I've been watching because I know you don't care or check. So I've been watching nonstop movies. I've been in movie marathon mode.
I watched a couple yesterday.
No, but I'm saying, do you and just sharing this with the audience, we literally have 2 full weeks left of our film year.
Yeah.
2. So we've got this week till Friday, and then, of course, it's Thanksgiving. And then next Friday is the end of the film year, and we vote for the Washington, D.C. Area Film Critics Association
And you will spend the rest of those weeks trying to surpass me in movies. I know you will. You probably already have, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
I have not done that, but it's ironic you would say that because I was just explaining to somebody yesterday. Somebody said, well, Tim, how did you get to 300 movies last year? I said, what happened is I was at about 286, and I had a week and a half left, and I had 14 movies sitting around the house, and I watched 14 movies.
What Tim does is he'll put a movie in the DVD player, and then he'll go and do other stuff around the house, and then he'll come back, he'll catch a minute here, he'll catch a minute there, and then he'll chalk it down as a movie that he watched. Because we're not going to ask him about it anyway.
You know, ironically, if I could do that. But let me ask you a question. Did you get a movie called Ida?
Yeah.
Did you watch it yet?
No. I watched yesterday. I watched Big Bad Wolves, which is the movie that Quentin Tarantino said was the best of the year.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Was it good?
It's good. I think he's overrating it. I think he must be friends with somebody who's making it. But it's a good crime movie, a foreign crime movie. So it's one worth checking out. I can see why he would love it because it's a Tarantino-esque film. He would like it. Heavy conversation, violence is brutal but important.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I check that out.
So it's a kind of movie that I would understand why he would say it was his favorite of the year because it is exactly the kind of movie he would make. So yes, I saw Big Bad Wolves, and then I watched Filth.
I watched Filth a couple
which
of days
I was
ago.
Disappointed by Filth because. To me, because those movies they get repetitive, and I felt like this movie got repetitive. I was like, okay, cuss word, have sex, cuss word.
Did you get the impression while you were watching it that the character that he played in Trance and this character were kind of like mirroring? I did. I didn't think there was much difference. I mean, other than the twist at the end of Filth, I thought that a lot of it. I thought two things. I thought it mirrored a lot of what went on in Trance, and I also thought that Dom Hemingway kind of stole the thunder of a film like Filth.
They both ended up coming out about the same time.
Yeah,
we never really got a chance to
Law's
watch
version.
Filth.
Yeah.
Filth didn't get the release here that Dom Hemingway did. And Dom Hemingway didn't get a big release either.
But it got more of a
but it was
release
more
than
than
Filth
what
did.
Filth got.
Right.
And they're similarly toned. One is made by Irvine Welsh, the guy who did Trainspotting. The other one looks like a movie made by Irvine Welsh. But they're both vulgar, lots of sex, lots of cussing, lots of pushing boundaries. And I think what Filth was, to me, like I said, it got repetitive. And I didn't really care much about his character, to be honest. So
I agree with you.
So,
but
McAvoy is great though. McAvoy really commits to that role. I give him that. I give him that. He always does. He always does. He always commits to every role he takes, but he really does in that film too.
Well, I was going to tell you, I know you like foreign language films. I watched Ida. Ida is the Polish entry. Their film for the Academy Awards.
I heard good things about it.
It's only 80 minutes long. I actually watched it back to back yesterday. I watched it and I was kind of half watching it.
Yeah.
And I said, let me just let it run again. And I watched it again.
Okay.
I think I would love to get some feedback from you, but basically it's a story about a girl who's in a nunnery, and this is 1962, and she's about to take her vows and become a full-fledged nun, and before she does it, Mother Superior brings her in, tells her she thinks she's an orphan, tells her she has an aunt, sends her to her aunt, and her aunt reveals like the family's deep, dark secret. And then the two of them go on a journey. That's really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. 80 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, I heard good things about it. And if I didn't know it was 80 minutes. Otherwise, I would have squeezed it in last night too. So I'll probably try to watch that this week then. But it looked like a Michael Haneke film.
And then I watched another one of your favorite films from the year.
Frank.
Jimmy. All is by my side.
Piece of shit. You really watched that?
It was not good.
It's awful, isn't it? And you know what?
It's not good at
You know
all.
what? I'm actually glad that you watched it because for months I felt like I was the only one who had to experience that movie because I got it from a publicist friend,
right?
Who sent it to me when nobody else in DC had it. And I was like Jimmy almost by my side, so I put up my review of it and I crushed it, and I got a lot of email saying that I was wrong.
You.
But I'm glad to get your feedback on it now about Jimmy. Which was the film with Andre Benjamin playing Jimi Hendrix, by the way. So if you don't know what we're talking about. So tell me, what did you hate about it?
Man, I thought, and it's funny because I was watching it with a friend. And,
what number are you at now?
243 or something.
Yeah, you're
like
right
that.
behind me.
Whatever.
I might get 247.
Okay, but I was saying the thing about it that we were quickly bored watching this movie. I mean, quickly bored. Like, really?
Who were you watching it with?
None of your business. Anyway, Box Trolls. I watched that yesterday.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It was okay. Now it was interesting because
you went to the Penguins of Madagascar.
I did go to the Penguins of Madagascar and I looked for you.
Fucking, I didn't go to that.
But it actually wasn't bad.
Okay, I've never seen any Madagascar movies in my life.
You've never seen?
I haven't seen Madagascar's 1, 2, or 3,
Wow.
and I have not seen any. I haven't seen any of the TV shows. Nothing. So I was like, I'm not going to go to this.
It was interesting watching Box Trolls at home after watching Penguins of Madagascar. So that whole animated vibe. I'm still really terribly torn. That I really think you and I have talked about this. There are really 3 animated films that I think really stand out this year: in Lego Movie, How to Train Your Dragon, and The Book of Life.
Right.
Those 3, I think. All of these other ones, I think, have some good qualities to them. But those 3 to me seem like the best bet to be Oscar nominees and possibly winners.
I would agree with that.
So
they released pop vinyl figures for the for The Book of Life. I must have them.
Did they really?
Yeah, I must have them.
Oh man.
I just saw Happy Christmas on there. I didn't know you saw that.
Yeah, I did. I saw it earlier this week.
I saw that at Sundance.
Did you see this?
No, I need to.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, man.
He's pointing at movies. You can't see them. It's the overnighters.
Mike Phillips, can you get in tight on this, man? There's a movie right here that I want Travis to see desperately. I had a chance to moderate it.
The one with that ugly old man on the front right there.
It's called The Overnighters, man. And this movie is a story, Travis.
It's about people staying overnight with that guy.
Well, no. Well, true, but it's a little more detailed than that. This guy right here is a pastor of a church in Williston, North Dakota. You can zoom out now, Mike Phillips. And basically, they're having an oil boom, and all of these people are coming from around the country to come and work. And they have no place to stay. And this guy opens up his church against the opposition of his congregation and the community. And it has a twist ending that I think is like amazingly not only ironic, but like very comical.
Huh.
But a really well done documentary. And I think they gave us an opportunity to talk to him, right?
They did.
I think we should talk to him, man, because Jesse Moss and the Overnighters, man, really good story.
I was looking at our background, our new background back there. It looks like we're in like a prison block.
It does, man. It looks like I'm waiting for a guard. I'm waiting for the horn to go off and go.
I feel like a loved one should be sitting across from us, and we're about to get tapped on the shoulder, say no contact, no physical contact.
Right. Time. All right, we got to go back now. Oh man,
that's funny, man. All right.
Oh, so before we move on, Travis. We've seen several other movies this week, man, that we can't review yet. Can we at least talk about the titles, man?
Yeah, we can tell people what we saw. We just can't talk about how
most
good
violent year, man.
We don't want to end up like a colleague of ours who started talking about a movie early.
Well, you know what? The thing is, and we can do this, Travis. You can talk about a movie, you just can't give your opinion of the movie.
Right.
So,
or at least not be so damn obvious about it.
Right. So, a most violent year, Travis.
Yes. Which I had almost forgotten to add to my Pinterest, by the way.
You got to add that, man.
I did it, but I just did it like yesterday. I was like, I saw this. So
we saw a most violent year, man. Jessica Chastain, though, man. Wow.
Oh, my God. You know, I didn't start out in love with Jessica Chastain. I didn't. She kind of got to grow on me.
You know what I'm going to
But now I'm like, wow, Jessica Chastain. Every time I see her.
Watch this. You know what I'm going to say. I say this every time you say Jessica Chastain. Did you ever see what?
Whatever that movie was.
Jolene? You never saw Jolene?
Yeah, Jolene.
If you see Jolene, you'll understand why I've been in love with Jessica Chastain. Wow.
Yeah.
Look.
Ned Benson.
Wow.
Ned Benson.
I was outraged, man.
Ned Benson used to tap that. Ned Benson.
You know what's funny? Mike Phillips, look at my face. Look over the counter, Mike Phillips. Travis and I were interviewing Ned Benson about a month or so ago, right? And I was sitting there.
Did we play that interview on here?
I don't know if we did. No, because we didn't have audio. I mean, we didn't have video. So look,
that's right.
Travis was doing the interview, right? I'm sitting there like not really caring. Travis is a witness to this. He said, yeah, man, back when me and Jessica Chastain used to see each other, I was like this. What? You did what? You used to what?
Yeah. Yeah, and he proceeded to tell us the story about how basically she was his very first fan. And I was like, how'd you like to have Jessica Chastain as your number one fan?
How come stuff like that never happens to me? How come I never have that experience?
Because you're not making any movies. If you made a movie,
damn it.
If you were the director of your own movie, you could possibly have that fan, like somebody that you helped turn into a star.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm trying to think of who. Oh, I know. Why couldn't Rosario Dawson do a Ned Benson and come up to me and go, I love your film, Tim. I want to be your girlfriend and be in your film.
Why couldn't you have been Larry Clark and made kids and cast Rosario Dawson in her first movie?
Wait till you see Top 5. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Rosario Dawson.
Oh, she's fine, okay?
No.
She's always been fine.
Delectable and delightful is how I described her.
Delectable and delightful.
Delectable and delightful.
Delectable. I liked her in Clerks 2. Did you ever see her in Clerks 2?
I did not.
You didn't watch Clerks 2, did you?
I didn't see Clerks 1.
For fuck's sake. All right. So in Clerks 2, she's in Clerks 2. And okay. I imagine her character is a lot like how she is in Top 5, where she's relatable, approachable, and you like how the kind of way you're like, she knows she's fine, but she's not like showy about it. That's the way I feel about Rosario Dawson.
Let me look into the camera at Rosario Dawson. If you're watching our show, and I know a lot of celebrities do follow us, Rosario Dawson, thank you for your service in Top 5. Thank you for the moments of pleasure I got just watching you in that film. Thank you. And also, by the way, P.S., you were great in Trans, too, especially in that one scene.
You know what scene he's talking about.
Yes, you do. All right, man. Let's get it started.
And if it makes you feel any better, Rosario, I just got Sin City: A Dame to Kill For in the mail.
Oh, did you really? You don't mean like a screener?
No.
Damn it!
They sent us no screener of that shit.
Damn.
All right, let's start talking about the Hunger Games Mockingjay, because I know we got people that are waiting to get our opinions on this. Let's go ahead and roll a clip of Mockingjay.
There has been rampant speculation about what really happened in the Quarter Quell. And here, to shed a little light on the subject for us, is a very special guest. Please welcome Mr. Peter Millark. Peter, a lot of people feel as though they are in the dark.
Yeah, I know how they feel.
Now, so set the stage for us. Talk us through what really happened on that final and controversial night.
Well, first off, you have to understand that when you're in the games, you only get one wish. It's very costly.
You're alive.
All right, that's a clip from Mockingjay. Go ahead, man. What are you gonna say?
Do what they say.
I know. Now, the Mockingjay, this is the first part.
Oh, man.
This is the first part of the two-part finale of Mockingjay. They split the last book into two parts because that's what every goddamn franchise is going to do from here on out. They managed to get 3-hour movies out of The Hobbit, which is like a 100-page book. And they've made so the Hunger Games, Harry Potter, they're all going to start splitting up everything at this point. But the thing about Mockingjay, and you've seen the first two, right? You saw the first two. If you read the books, you've seen the movies, Mockingjay is the most different of all of them. This one is different. Now, to me, I call this one a political thriller. Now, politics has been at the heart of all of the Hunger Games movies to some extent, mostly about propaganda and things like that. This one, I think, goes full tilt into being a political thriller and exploring how we use propaganda, visual media to win over the hearts and minds. So you saw in that clip right there that Peter Millark, played by Josh Hutcherson, is in the grips of the Capitol, brainwashed apparently, or so we think, brainwashed and used as a tool against the rebellion who are starting to uprise against the Capitol.
See, but people don't get the brainwashing part. But go ahead.
Well, that's why I said. That's why I said presumably. Yeah. And then you have the other side, which is the rebels, which Katniss has just been made the Mockingjay, the leader of that group. And you got to remember, she's still pretty young in these movies. So at the beginning of this movie, she's really kind of struggling with the burden of everything that's been going on. But she is essentially a propaganda tool for the rebels. So You got both sides trying to do the same thing to win over the people. And to me, as somebody who's like really into politics and that kind of thing, I thought that was the most fascinating aspect of the movie for me. Because it's not like the first two. There's no Hunger Games in this one. The games are political.
Right.
So that's why I like this one a lot. I don't like it as much as I like the first two, but I still like it.
Well, I thought I went in reading, or not necessarily reading reviews, but listening to a lot of the chatter, and people were really mixed on it going in. So I'm
like
in there.
like our idiot colleague.
You know who you are. But in this one, what I thought was really interesting is that for the most part, Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, spends a lot of the movie as like the reluctant symbol, the Mockingjay. I thought the funniest part though, to me, was the revelation. Which, do we tell him, or is it spoiling it?
I wouldn't spoil anything major if you can kind of allude to it without giving it away.
Basically, there's a character in there who is being tortured. Who literally, the only thing that was missing was the scene where he was like, "They got me. Do what they say." I'm being tortured. I thought that part was hilarious, but I thought, honestly, along the way, and you hear me use this phrase a lot when we talk about these extraordinary white kid movies. Hunger Games, of all the movies that they make, and extraordinary white kid movies, these movies that they make, that usually happen somewhere in the
young
far
adult
future.
franchises, basically.
Yeah, right. And it's always some special gifted white kid who's the only one who's the key to saving the world. The Giver, Jupiter Ascending, all these movies.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about the Hunger Games franchise is that of all the YA series that are out there, I think that they do it better.
Yeah.
And execute this story better than any of the other ones.
Right.
I must have said something really wild because I just got a message from somebody. Wow, that was, like, what did I say?
Well, let's not forget who's in these Hunger Games movies. What, something nice?
Yeah.
So say something. They say something good.
Yeah. Anyway, but
you
the
can't
Hunger,
tell it what it is.
No. but the Hunger Game franchise, I honestly think they did a great job, and I think the setup on this one, picking it up, as you said, you like the political aspect of it all. I thought it was very tense. I loved the propaganda wars that were at least going on the Mockingjay side.
Oh,
with
Natalie
with the
Dormer.
resistance.
Natalie Dormer as the camera lady, man.
As
the director,
yeah.
I got a thing for Natalie Dormer. Okay, I got a thing for her from Game of Thrones. I got a thing for her from The Tudors, where she played one of the queens. I can't remember who's King Henry VIII, the one that got her head chopped off. Can't remember her name. Anne Boleyn. She played Anne Boleyn in The Tudors, and she was amazing, and she's gorgeous. She's fantastic in these.
But this movie, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's
fine.
fine.
But I think this movie, man, you have to go in it understanding that it is the Hunger Games franchise.
Right.
You're not going in there looking for Nightcrawler or any of these other movies that we've talked about recently. I don't think this is a really bad movie, and I think, and it was funny because it ended exactly where I thought it would end. So I was getting my coat ready and getting ready to walk out the theater as everybody was still sitting there. I'm like, people, it's going to be chopped right here. And as soon as we got to a certain scene, boom, the movie did what it's supposed to do.
I was one of the things I was most curious about was where they were going to split it. I mean, once I saw it coming, I could see when it was coming.
Right.
But in terms of beforehand, I was like, I don't know where they're going to, because in the books, there's no natural place for it to happen. I think they do a pretty good job of I would say keeping it interesting for the most part, because there's not a whole lot of action in it. In this one, it's mostly dialogue. It's mostly the cat and mouse games between her and President Snow.
But I do have a question though.
Yeah.
So Julianne Moore is
Al McCoy, President Al McCoy.
Now she's president of what? President of District 13.
District 13.
Okay, because that was one of the things about the story I didn't really understand. Like, did they elect her, or did they create a post for District 13?
Yeah, she's president of District 13.
All right.
I would say she was probably elected. I don't think they really go into specifics on that process, but I love the fact that they have Al McCoy. They kind of dialed back her character in a little bit.
You're talking about from the book to the movie?
Yeah, and this is one of the things that I talked about with our friend Rocky Haddadi, who's also a fan of the books. And we were talking about this, and I said that, we love Rocky, and how they really dialed back on a lot of the characters for this one because they have to hold off for the next one. So you got Al McCoy And she's going to do some stuff in the next one that I know is coming that people aren't going to expect. If you're a casual fan, you're probably not going to expect it. But in this one, you kind of get glimpses of who she is. And I think the most telling scenes for her weren't just the ones where she's talking with Plutarch Heavensby, because his names are fucking awesome. Plutarch Heavensby.
Who the hell is Plutarch Heavensby?
That's Philip Seymour Hoffman's character.
Oh,
where she's
is that his character's name?
Yeah, where she's talking to him and she's kind of dismissive of Katniss, or maybe not believing in her as the Mockingjay, you know. But later on, you see them together when they're like on stage and they're talking to the crowd. Alma Coin is not a leader. Alma Coin doesn't have the charisma that Katniss has,
right.
And you kind of get that inkling of jealousy in there from her. You know, when she's sitting there talking and it's all kind of standard and blah. And in fact, Plutarch even says something about it afterwards at one point. But then Katniss is the one who inspires without really trying. And I think that you get that little hint that there's something between them. And it's something that's going to play out in the next movie.
It's interesting that when you were running the clip, and maybe the clip wasn't available, I thought what would have been a great clip to have shown, I think that would have kind of like epitomized the movie, was the scene where after the hospital, there's an incident where there's a bombing and a bunch of innocent civilians and children get killed. Yeah. And you see Katniss go out there, and they've been trying to coach her, and the character Putar, whatever you said his name was, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, is like, she's got to go out and be natural. You can't.
Right.
No, actually, it wasn't even her. I think it was Woody Harrelson's character. It said you gotta let her be natural.
That was one of the other scenes I considered bringing in, was where they're where he's at the chalkboard essentially,
and
he's asking people, you know, when was the last time Katniss really inspired you, and you know, and it's all scenes where she's unscripted.
Unscripted. She goes out there, and that was a great scene.
It is a great scene. That's why I didn't want to spoil it.
This is what they do. This is what the Capitol does.
Right. No, it's a great scene. There are a lot of little great scenes like that. My complaints with the movie are the fact that they dialed back the characters so much that you have a lot of characters who don't really do anything. Gale Hawthorne, who was, you know, the third part of that love triangle with her and Peeta. He's kind of bland in this one for me. Then again,
Peeta's kind of bland. Peeta's killing me.
Peeta's under duress during this entire movie.
Peeta, you're a punk.
And I have my issues with Josh.
Do what they say.
With Josh Hutcherson anyway. But you know who's great in these movies? Donald Sutherland as President Snow.
Snow.
I think he's as good as Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort. I think he's one of the best villains, one of the best actors who's perfect for his villain role that we've seen in a long time. He is.
You know what President amazing. Snow is? President Snow is the president that the conservatives in America need right now. They need President Snow. They don't want President Obama.
They want President Snow.
Oh, they want President Snow.
They want President Snow.
If President Snow was president of the United States, the conservatives would be happy. They'd be great. It'd be like he'd kill the black people. He'd kill all the damn immigrants. He would just like not even care. Like
no, but he'd do it and make fun of you at the same time.
Oh, he would. That's President Snow.
That's why they love him. But he is absolutely.
Wait a minute, President Snow, S-N-O-W. President Bush, B. Wow, that's pretty good.
Wow, that's deep.
Man,
there's a deep.
I went there.
Deep conspircy right there.
Look,
deep conspiracy theory.
Our conservative listeners are now turning the dial.
They just switched it off right now. When this turned to a political show, man,
President
get this shit
Snow.
over here.
Since President Snow was in Mockingjay.
We should do a politics show. Let's see.
We should not do a
Let's see if
we
can buy the 8 o'clock hour.
We
got the In the Clinch guys come in at 8 o'clock, so we can't buy it from them.
Look, I went political today, and I heard a lot of negative stuff today. Of course, I'm talking specifically. You want me to mention it?
I don't care.
I'm talking specifically of the death of Marion Barry today. So that dominated the morning.
This is sad. Now we live in
dominated the morning.
We are here in DC, of course. So the death of Marion Barry is a big deal.
So I wrote 2 huge posts today, complete with pictures, because I've lived in this area for 30 years. So
I was pissed about that TMZ headline. By the way.
I saw it, and it pissed me off that they called
Look at Marion.
The crack mayor dead at 78, and I said to myself, are you really kidding me? Yeah. Like instead of let me give you a good example. The Washington Post who for years had issues with what Marion Barry did, did a respectful piece today. You're always respectful. Even if somebody was a tool in real life where there was some elements you didn't like, when people die, the respectful thing is to always at least put their life in a proper light. There's always time to tear somebody down after the fact, but not on the day that they pass.
You and I will disagree on that. But in this case,
you think there are times?
I think there are certain people who deserve to be torn down immediately.
There's one person I can think of that in my recent memory, and that was probably 15 years ago, that I had really bad stuff to say when he died because I really didn't like him.
I think there are certain people who deserve to be torn down immediately. But Marion Barry does not qualify under that. Marion Barry had one instance that everybody remembers, which is the bitch set me up crack.
I am surprised.
At what?
To hear that from you, because you haven't been here that long. Like, let me take that back. You've been here all your life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I've been here all my life. What are you talking about?
I'm surprised. We had never had a conversation about Marion Barry. I didn't know what your feelings were.
No. My thing about Marion Barry, and I don't remember, because at the time when he was really in power,
right?
I wasn't really doing movies or anything like that, so I don't know how he was when it came to the arts and stuff like that. I really don't know. I can't speak to that, but I do know.
That is a good question.
Right, I don't remember, and that's something I'd like to look into actually, and kind of see how he was. Kind of see.
Well, I know his movie department, all during his administration, was run by Crystal Palmer, who's a good friend of ours.
Right.
Who's no longer there. So I know they were consistent with that they kept her there. I'm sure there's some people who are local who could probably speak to that better than I can, because I can't speak to it either.
It just made me think about it today. I was like, I wonder how he was when it came to, like bringing, movies here or backing, theater programs or just the arts. I never really thought about it back when he was actually in power, because I was younger, so it wasn't something that crossed my mind. Now, if he was in power now, I'd be wondering about it. But no, I just thought that their headline was so disrespectful. What it did was it narrowed an entire life down to like one fucking day, like one thing. And it's like no person is one thing. No one is. No one can be encapsulated by one thing in their life. I don't think, unless they killed somebody, which he did not do.
He didn't do
so.
it. No.
So I just thought it was completely unfair. And I'm somebody who actually likes TMZ because I think they're funny. And they actually break news that you wouldn't expect them to break. Like, they break a lot of, like, political scandals. And you're like, really, TMZ? Yeah, they do. They're actually really good. But in this particular case, I think they were going for the grabby headline without actually thinking about what they were doing.
Well, the last thing I will say about this is that for years, and spending time working in radio and seeing Marion Barry around, I remember a couple of years ago, Ivan and I, my good friend Ivan Walks and I went to Jamaica for a, what do they call it, a pink ball tournament, where they had like executives from this really nice, but basically a lot of chief executives
Jamaica,
from Washington,
I think
D.C.
that it would be.
were in Montego Bay. They had a golf tournament. And I remember Marion Barry flew down, and it's funny because he wasn't even mayor at that point, and like everybody gravitated around this guy. I mean, he had what they called the it quality.
Oh yeah,
people
absolutely.
talk about he had this it.
He had the presence
about him, and it's so funny because literally, and I wrote it this morning in a post. I was having a conversation with a friend last night about I've lived in this town it'll be 30 years in February. And remembering back to what I call the golden era, the mid-'80s here in Washington, D.C., when it truly was Chocolate City, and Marion Barry's role in things I remember and witnessed. And then I wake up this morning, and the news had come that he passed, and I was like, damn, we were just talking about you last night.
Wow.
And he literally was, around town. He had a new book out. He had been promoting. He had been at BET, where I work at during the day.
Yeah.
He was at an event here at Howard University. We were on the campus of Howard. He was at an HUR event early in the week. So he reportedly had gone to the Howard University Hospital yesterday.
Yep.
Reportedly had been released, went home, and a half an hour later collapsed and died. So I think that's why people were so shocked this morning. And the city completely shut down the first half day. Everybody was just on Facebook celebrating, grieving, mourning the loss of like a political giant, a guy who ruled the landscape here for 2 decades, 20 years, 4 administrations. Yeah. So the alpha and omega of DC politics, man. guy was a giant, man.
You know, I read an article the other day about Rayful Edmonds. You remember that name?
The golden era of the 1980s.
The same time period.
There were 3 names. When I first moved here, there were 3 names that became synonymous for me in the mid 80s. Marion Barry, Rayful Edmonds, and Lenny Bias. Remember that? That was another huge
Lynn
story.
Bias, absolutely.
I remember Lynn Bias died, and the city again in shock.
It's not West Unseld.
See, you're so wrong, man. I know West Unseld too. That was Travis. That wasn't me.
Does he still got that fro thing he used to have?
You know what's ironic? He does have the fro, but since
Really?
he's aging now, it's thin. So it's not a good look right now. But Wes, I love you.
Thin fro.
Wes, I love you.
Thin fro. Tall, thin fro.
You know where I see Wes Unseld all all the time? I'm not
Really?
making this up.
Where?
And believe it or not,
At like
Costco.
at like Chipotle or
Costco.
something. Is it Costco?
Costco. I'm not lying. I go to Costco and I'll see Wes rolling around like, what's up, Wes? I was telling somebody today, Travis, you want to hear another funny one? You remember the late Chuck Brown, right?
Yeah.
I used to see Chuck Brown all the time. I knew Chuck because we worked in radio together. But you know where I used to see him all the time? And it was inexplicable?
Where?
Home Depot. I would go to Home Depot and Chuck Brown would be there. And I would go, damn, Chuck, why are we in Home Depot together all the time?
That's hilarious.
Chuck would be in there with his wife. Hey, Chuck, what's up? Line me up, Chuck. But I'm just saying, you have to understand what we're really talking about, you'd have to understand the spirit and the heart of this town. And I moved here in 85 and thought the people in this town were lunatics. I didn't understand the love for Marion Barry. I was like, I don't understand. Why do you like this guy? And
for all the shit he put DC through, man. I always felt like, and I'm not someone who actually lived in DC. I always lived on the outskirts. I lived in the Alexandria, Springfield area. But basically you're practically in DC anyway. But you know, for all the shit he put DC through, I always felt like Marion Barry had DC's best interest at heart.
He loved his town, man.
Always did. He did some stuff for himself too, but he was always. I think he had DC's best interest. That's all. That's what I always thought.
Mayor Gray.
I don't feel that way about a lot of other politicians.
You mean in this town?
Especially some in this town. I don't always feel that way.
There are no more like Marion Barry.
There aren't
in this
any more
town.
that I can say that about.
That man took a bullet for this city. You remember that? No, I mean, when the Hanafi Muslims took over the district building back in '79. He took a bullet.
I got a message saying somebody can't picture you at Home Depot. There's got a message saying that.
Yeah, I bet I know who that message is from.
It's from my wife.
Yeah, back at you, Susan. Yeah, Susan. I go to Home Depot. I might not buy anything, but I'll walk the aisles.
You just walk in there to look at the ladies with tool belts. That's the only reason why you're there. All right, so we got
a nasty man, Travis. Go ahead.
Yes. So anyway, we got one more movie to talk about, and it is
Foxcatcher.
It is Foxcatcher. So let's go ahead and run a clip of that.
Mark, you have been living in your brother's shadow your entire life. It's time. It's your time now.
I know what you mean.
Do you?
Because everything that I've done, I feel like, has somehow been credited to Dave. And, you know, I feel that it's time for me to distance myself from him. You know, become my own person.
And all right, so you hear that silence between us at the end of that clip there. That was the silence at the end of the movie when we actually watched Foxcatcher, the screening, and I commented to somebody about this today actually that never happens. Usually when a movie's over, we're all blah, 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 talking. Whatever the movie is, doesn't matter, good or bad, we're talking. Foxcatcher ended, everybody just kind of quietly walked out of the theater. It was weird.
This movie sucks the air out of a room. It was like leaving a funeral. Now here's the irony of it all. The movie, of course, is based on, and Travis is always good for this. This movie's based on what, Travis?
The true story of John DuPont.
Thank you. And basically, Steve Carell, who you saw in this clip, was wearing.
Did it look like Steve Carell? No.
No, it does
Absolutely
not. Wearing this unrecognizable
prosthetic.
Prosthetic? I was going to okay,
Prosthesis is fine.
Thank you. One of those words. And basically, looking like a white Bubba Gump is Channing Tatum in the same scene. Now, who we didn't see in this scene was Mark Ruffalo, who looks like Bradley Cooper did in American Hustle last year.
You mean Christian Bale?
No, he looks like the Bradley Cooper character.
He looks like the Christian Bale character with the hair.
I'm talking about with the beard.
Oh, I'm talking about with the hair on his head.
Oh, no, I was talking about the beard.
Okay, I'm talking about the hair on his head.
But anyway.
The hair on his head is more like Bale, but the hair on his face, I guess, is more like Bradley Cooper.
Right. So basically, I think, honestly, Travis, that all three of the acting performances in this are really, really good.
Yep.
My issue with this movie is that when you're usually telling a story, when you're doing a biopic like this, and the word is biopic because I've heard people pronounce it biopic. Come on, people, common sense. Biopic doesn't even make sense. But anyway, when you're doing a biopic like this, generally it's you tell a story, but you got to also enhance the story and make the story, give the audience something to focus on in this story. And who's the director of this film, Travis?
Bennett Miller.
Thank you.
Who's a great director.
Who did Moneyball and Capote.
Yep.
I don't think he gives us anything to hold on to that's in this story outside of just like John DuPont's just absurd weirdness and like this crazy fascination he has in some of these scenes that go on. But then when we get to the end, it just ends and then there's nothing.
It's just
there's
really
no
weird.
Explanation.
It's just really weird, sort of impersonal finale. And look, the thing is, I think Bennett Miller made exactly the kind of movie he wanted to make. I think when he sat down and watched this movie, he said, "This is exactly what I wanted." Because I would say that to an extent, Moneyball and Capote aren't that much different in terms of tone.
But both, even being weird in their own weirdness, both have a sense of entertainment that this film has none of.
What Miller does wrong here, and this is more, I guess, is a combination of him and the screenwriters, is that we're kept at such a distance from every single character in this movie that we never really have a connection with any of them, and I think that's a problem. And look, I think you see that kind of play out at the end, like we talked about the cold, impersonal finale, where you can kind of feel him trying to make some sort of connection, try to grab some sort of overall theme for the movie, and I can see what he's trying to say in some cases. The movie's about the American dream. It's about the power of the rich to do whatever they want to do. He's touching on a lot of things in general, but not really going into them.
Okay. All right, stop. Let me give you a good example.
Okay.
You didn't see the movie at Middleburg, but there was a movie I saw called Human Capital.
Right.
Human Capital tells a story of these super rich people, or like this super rich family, and it's all tied around the story of a guy who there's a whodunit of a guy who gets hit by a car early in the film. That film's theme mirrors a lot of what's in this film. But again, you heard me use the phrase something to grab onto. You got to put some other elements in the movie. And again, I fault Bennett Miller because it's not as if this is his first rodeo and this is his debut film and he just messed it up. He's made two really successful, or written two or directed two really successful films prior to this one. And it was almost as if this is the film he wanted to make. As an investor, if I would have given him money to produce this movie, I would have been upset. This is the product we end up with. Can you at least you needed a post, what do you call it? A post like postscript or something to kind of give me something. But there was nothing. It was like, here's your movie, peace out, enjoy your night, get home safe.
Right. And I said that in some cases I felt like I should just go ahead and read the Wikipedia entry for John DuPont. I mean, I already knew this story anyway, and it is one of the weirdest stories. If you want to tie it into the Olympics, it's one of the weirdest moments weirdest periods in Olympic history ever. So basically John DuPont is this billionaire eccentric who turns his entire estate into this Olympic wrestling facility. He's obsessed with creating the world's the United States' best Olympic wrestling team. So he brings in Mark Schultz, which is Channing Tatum's character, who was like both the Schultz brothers are champions, but it's Dave Schultz.
They were gold medal winners in '84.
Right. Dave Schultz is the older brother played by Ruffalo, and Mark Schultz feels like he's been living in his brother's shadow, like you saw in that clip right there. So DuPont gives him his chance to kind of break out of that by bringing him aboard. Of course, he wants the older brother too, but he refuses. So what you have is this dynamic where it's kind of a power play going on here between DuPont and Mark Schultz, and then it becomes a trio when Dave Schultz comes in there, and the power struggle evolves into something different. But it ends in this act of violence, and I'm not going to spoil for anybody who may not know the John DuPont story. It ends in this brutal act of violence. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and the movie doesn't really do anything with it. I mean, if you're gonna tell this story, if you're gonna let us go through this with these three characters, watching them have this power play dynamic for 2 hours, make it about something. I mean, but it doesn't. It just kind of tells the story and then it goes away. And to me, I was left kind of cold.
Travis, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, and you and I will be at Sundance in a couple of months, and I think depending on
I'm excited
if the Academy Award nominations are
Mike
announced,
Phillips, you coming with us to Sundance? Mike Phillips.
As I was saying,
no.
If we have to do the announcements for the Academy Awards live again,
right?
And this movie is one of the 9 movies that
takes
a slot away. Really?
It will be. Yeah, I think it will be.
Really?
I do think it will be. And I'm not. And look, that's not me saying I think the movie's great. Obviously, I don't. But I do feel like it's the kind of movie that is going to get nominated, especially if there's 9 slots.
I can see you making an argument for Carell. All right, but do not take a slot away in a year where we got movies like Unbroken, Selma, Imitation Game, Theory of Everything, Birdman. I mean, films that really are, to me,
the Raid
much
2.
better. Raid 2 is not getting an Oscar slot. It might
bullshit.
It's not getting. It might get on Travis Hopson's top 10 list. And I'm also struggling with that right now because I was thinking about it. I've seen so many stories I really like, and I try to save a place for movies. This top 10 thing is really weighing on me. And I only got 2 weeks, man, to get it done.
It's gonna be tough this year.
It is hard, man. Because they're documentaries that I love. I think The Overnighters is fantastic. I mean, I don't know whether it's on my top 10.
Are you gonna put Red Army in there?
I think Red Army's fantastic. I mean, there are some really strong movies, man.
You can't put 5 to 7 in there.
I could not, but 5 to 7, boy. When 5 to 7 comes out,
next year, sorry.
What is her name?
Bernice Bejo.
No, that's not Bernice.
Bernice Marlowe. Bernice Marlowe. Excuse me.
Bernice Marlowe.
Yeah.
Marlowe.
And that role was initially supposed to go to Diane Kruger, by the way. You didn't know.
No, I know. You're talking about from Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no. It would have been. No. Look. It would have been fine if Diane Kruger.
No, it would
yes,
not
it
have
would have
been.
because Diane Kruger was Helen of Troy. She launched.
Give a damn.
She was the face that launched 1,000 ships. So yes, she would have been fine. The problem is you already know Bernice Marlowe for the role, so that's why you're like that now.
Mike Phillips, can you do me a favor? Can you
don't you dare,
close
Mike
up
Phillips.
on my face because I want to say something.
Don't you dare, Mike Phillips.
Mike Phillips,
don't do it.
Hit me, Mike.
Don't
hit me, Mike.
Don't give in to him, Mike Phillips.
Mike, close up on me. Get in tight real quick.
Don't.
Just block Travis all the way out, man. Just
don't.
Get in tight.
We want to keep our viewers.
Get in tight right here.
We want to keep our viewers
get Travis out. All right, go in one more time.
Ratings plummeting.
All right, people, listen to me. There is no way Diane Kruger from Inglourious Bastards would have been better in 5 to 7 than the super fine Bernice Marlowe.
Who said she would have been better? I said she.
You said she would have been better.
I said she would have been fine.
Okay, well, guess what? She might have been fine, but the actress that
right.
they used.
What I'm actually saying is that
in this role.
What I'm actually saying is that if you had never any clue that Bernice Marlowe's, if you had never seen Bernice Marlowe, you would have seen Diane Kruger in it and you would have liked it because it would have been the same movie. She's beautiful too.
She's gorgeous.
I'm
not a huge fan. I mean, I'm not saying
she's gorgeous and foreign, just like Bernice Marlowe.
I'm not saying she's gorgeous, but my point is that I think that the French dynamic they use would have worked better than the German dynamic.
Then that much I can agree with you with.
Okay.
That much I can agree with.
And how would Diane Kruger, as a German woman, been able to play a French woman doing 5
Probably
to 7?
pretty easily.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Mike Phillips holding up 8 fingers, man. What, you only got 8 mics or something? What's that about? Oh,
Only
8
got
minutes.
8 minutes.
Oh, and that reminds me, Time is Illmatic, man, is making its debut on TV in a minute, man.
In a minute?
In December.
Oh,
Early
I thought you
December.
meant like literally in a minute.
No. But I'm
channel?
just saying, Hubbo.
Oh, okay.
Because you didn't want me to plug them. Because the last time I did that, you started screaming at
No,
me.
that's that's because you tried to end our show with a plug for HBO, which I was like, why are you doing that?
Why you talking about HBO, man? Is HBO cutting us a check?
I don't care if you mention the HBO, but this is not the place for you to start sponsoring their shows. Tune into this joint. Tune into this show tonight. It's like, why?
Maybe there's a check coming.
Yeah, well, you need to split it then. But anyway,
because if we start getting the check, boy, I'd be like, what's the sound? Right. So, all right, man, we got about 6 minutes, man.
Yeah.
So
what is the overall Foxcatcher? Neither one of us is really feeling
Foxcatcher,
like that.
man. I will just say,
Going back to the whole
earlier,
Oscar thing, I do think it is going to be one of the 9 movies.
I think if I'm telling you now, people. You know, we always talk about Travis the disconnect, where I tell you, and you get it too, that you know our friends who are not in the industry. I always get these calls every year. Why are these movies getting nominated? What is the big deal? I saw that movie. That movie's not that good. If they called me for Foxcatcher, I go, you right. It's not that good.
Right.
Not to me. I mean, like I said, the performances are good.
Nobody's going to go see Foxcatcher anyway, because it's impossible to market. The only thing you can market are the performances. We can push those, but in terms of cutting a trailer, you watch the trailers for it. They're not very good at all. They're not the kind that are appealing because there's not that much in the movie that would appeal to you. I mean, it isn't. Now let's not forget that Foxcatcher was supposed to come out last year. It was supposed to be in the Oscar race last year, but it got held for this year because last year was too crowded. This year's just as crowded.
Yeah, big time.
This year's just as crowded. There's no such thing. There's never going to be that year where there's like no controversy.
I mean, honestly,
you know, there's not going to be that
how
case.
How do you make the argument to nominate Foxcatcher for Best Picture? I mean, honestly, I'm not being funny.
Look, I'm not saying that I would put it in there. I'm just saying that I think that when the Academy looks at the movies they're going to put in there, they're going to consider it because it is a prestige picture, and they tend to like those with 3 performances in there. 3 performances that you could conceivably say are all Oscar worthy or at least nomination worthy. Okay. I think you could say there are 3 performances in there that are like that. You have a director who has directed 2 movies that have been Best Picture contenders, one with a Best Actor winner and one with a Best Actor contender. So I think when you look at the pedigree behind this movie, Hollywood's going to be like, we're going to put this movie in there. We're going to slot it in there.
I can say the same thing for Clint Eastwood and Jersey Boys didn't get an Oscar nomination.
Difference is Jersey Boys came out 6 months ago and it was a musical and nobody saw it.
Right. What's opening next week, man, for Thanksgiving, man? What is our Thanksgiving movie?
Horrible Bosses 2 comes out next week and Penguins of Madagascar. That's it. I think maybe The Imitation Game might, but no. I don't think so.
I want to wish you and the family a happy
done?
Thanksgiving.
How much time we got, Mike?
We got 1 minute, man. I'm going to wish
we got
you
1 minute,
a
Mike
happy
Phillips?
Thanksgiving. I want to wish the folks who watch.
Mike Phillips doesn't want to answer.
I'm sorry. I want to watch the folks who watch Addicted to Film. Happy Thanksgiving, Travis. You got anything?
No. We'll see you guys next week. I hope. Right? Are we going to be here next week?
And remember,
we
will not be talking about Selma, even though we will have seen it months before you regular people.
See, he's such an elitist.
Hey,
so
these
elitist.
are jokes. You
so
know what
elitist.
I do? You know what I do.
So elitist.
Mike Phillips, man, take us home.
We're out. Later, y'all.
All right, y'all.